Dave's Vault, my fellow gamers. Here we are out in the garage again. This is the fourth time I've tried to film this mess. See if I can get through it this time. Here I have the metal version of the Murder Birds. Now, since version 3 has come out for Deadzone, they announced that they're going to re-release Murder Birds. I don't know if they're going to be the same sculpts, but they're going to be in plastic. These bad boys are all in metal. You've got really great detail in metal models. I love metal. I'm from the 90s era of gaming, whereas like the golden age, everything was basically metal, unless you played like Undead with Skeletons and stuff from GW. They were all plastic. But here, we've got these awesome sculpts, and I just wanted to showcase them. They're very rare. I spent quite a bit on these. But this is what you get in the original package, and that's 5 separate models that use the infantry base, a small base, and I'll go through how they're built and whatnot. Even though these are already built and painted, there aren't any instructions online that I was able to find, because when I got these, they were just raw. They didn't have the bases. They weren't painted. They were bare metal. But there was no package to them. They came in a box, and each of these things were bubble wrapped. Very glad to have them, but it would have been nice to have seen their original packaging, because I haven't even seen that. Their molds did break, so I don't know if the plastics are going to look like the metals. It'll be very interesting to see that. But here we're going to go over them. We're going to start at this end, because I usually do him last, but this is the Eagle version. This is a piece of brass rod on one of the supports from the landing pad that you get for the terrain set in Deadzone. There's the Eagle. I wanted to keep him kind of gruesome. My dull coat didn't take, you can see some of the glossiness. I'm going to redo the dull coat on the inside of his wings. But and you can tell, top heavy. With this model, I may very well put the size 2 base on him, just to help with that wobble, because this guy is all metal. I also could have put him on a shorter bit of base, but I wanted him up high. So I think my remedy will be a size 2 base. No big deal. But with these guys, I painted a gray skin tone, little bone bits with a jaggedy, sharp, spiky things going on there with their plaguiness. But that's the Eagle, and he is a solid piece. I don't even think his head might be a separate entity, but I don't think so. I think he is one solid bit. And the base I contrived myself. I could have done it better. So in this configuration, he is playable, because you can put him in different nooks and crannies on top of buildings and whatnot. And with his height, he's not going to interfere with other models. With, they can go underneath the wings, but with his tipping over. So that's why I'm going to go with a size 2, I think, just to try to fix it, make him a little bit playable. These are the most playables, but they are also the most fragiles. Again, a piece of brass rod just drilled into the base. Pardon me. But these guys, you get this main bird down here at the bottom, and this bird are actually attached together. So they'll attach to the inside or the outside of that wing. Then this bird is a single bird by himself, I believe. And he attaches his belly onto the outside of that wing. And then these 2 birds are together. They're joined together permanently there. So it's a belly connection there for the top side of the wing, and a belly connection there with the top side of the wing. So you gotta stack these guys together. And when you get them, you'll be able to see the little nipples and the recessed areas that the nipples fit into. And these, they're basically like pigeons or sparrows or something. They're the tiny Alfred Hitchcock dudes. So here, again, it's a house of stacked cards. You get this little piece of pipe, and this bottom bird, that's one piece. And these two birds here, they're joint connected at that wing, so they're one piece. But then here on the side is where they connect to this base bird. So they connect down there, and then this bird and that top bird there, they're one piece, and they connect via a belly connection to the top part of that wing. So take that, birds. So, all right. And these two are very playable pieces. They're on the small bases. They're not going to interfere with other models. They're going to be easy to move. That one, as you saw, is a little top heavy, but not so bad. Not like that Joker. But this one's definitely the one that will be in all the games. It's awesome. Here we have the Vulture. Yeah, everybody likes this model. You'll see it pictured a lot online. It's a cool model. It's several pieces. It's extremely heavy. The whole thing, I mean, this chest here is solid metal, and this dude is a lot of metal himself. So this guy's a lot of pieces. His head, his two wings, the main body attached to the base here, because these ankles are small, but they are solid pieces. And then his tail feathers. That's all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 pieces for this one model. Very heavy, very robust, but he has a huge footprint. Kind of a pain in the butt to have in a cube for Deadzone, because you can't get models right up next to him. In Deadzone version 2, he was cool because, you know, he could easily hide a bit of his wing behind a building, and there you're denied a clear shot. But now in version 3, this is a dead bird. Probably not, because their rules are still amazing. This one is probably my favorite. A lot of great dynamics here, especially this bird on the side, launching off, you know, flying. He's connected by like a chunk in the wing inside the rock face here, the wall that's been shot up, and a little bit on the tail there. But yeah, he's taking flight. You got a nasty old crow. These are your crows or your ravens. He's got himself an eyeball, which is, you know, pretty characterful for the unit, you know, for the model here. But this wall, this thing is heavy. It's all metal. It's wonderful. I'm over the funk. I'm starting to get over the funk. So here you have this bird. That's one piece. 2 sections of wall. So 3 pieces. You see that little line there? That's where those 2 birds glue right on the top. So that's another piece. These 2 birds are one piece. And then this bird here, there's a little seam there. So that bird glues on the top too. This bird here is part of that wall. There's no separating those 2. Unless you get jiggy with a Dremel or something. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, 6 if you count the base. Just wonderful, wonderful detail on these metal sculpts. I love them a long time. They're really great. And since we're talking about rare models, I wanted to shift over here. Oh, yes. So here we've got the Joe Schmo Restic garbage version of the Plague Lord. And this thing has mold lines that are just terrible. Several different ones. The worst one's probably in the palm of the hand. I've seen some really nicely painted ones of these models, but the mold lines are still there. And it's probably because they're such a pain in the butt to get rid of. This guy, I spent several hours digging and scraping and cursing just to get rid of all the mold lines, but it was done. He's just got a basic primer coat on him. I haven't gotten to him yet, but I will. Other things, you know, shiny new toy syndrome. We're gamers. It happens. So I got him together, primed him up a little bit, and then I'm like, ugh, I hate you. And I put him down. So, and I'm going to put him down now because I've got the new hotness, and it's not really new. This dude is ancient. He's from the first Kickstarter. That's the only way to get this guy. This is the variant 1A resin, like legit resin model, and it's gorgeous. Next to no mold lines on this Joker. When the guys at Mantic decide to do resin, they do it right. And this guy's no exception. He is primo. Now, in order to get this Joker during the first Kickstarter, you had to pledge like $500. And you would get him, and you would also get the Rebel leader. She was at the $400 mark. So if you're able to get him, you're able to get her. I got very lucky, and I found a person that was willing to sell these. But he's sporting a little GCPS dude in trails and all. The guy's had a better day. Probably should have stayed in bed, buddy. Probably should have done that. But here, I mean, you could tell it's not too much of a departure from the sculpt, but it's quite enough when you think about everything that's going in to this model. It is an entirely new sculpt. Okay, this dude's looking off to his left. This guy's looking off to his right. So that changes all that musculature in there. They're stepping off on different feet. You know, he's got his right foot getting with it. This dude's doing the left foot stomp. So that changes the whole dynamic of the model. That's the hips, the legs, everything changes. Of course, reaching out to the right, reaching out to the left a little bit, or kind of, I don't know, pimp walking. I don't know what's going on, but you know, here you filled the hands. So this arm could have been a reuse, could have been. But instead of a gigantic, ugly, freaking mold line, you have a really nice GCPS wreck dude. So, very, very nice sculpt. Like I said, you know, a little bit of green stuff is needed. I've got some more on this arm. But very nice and crisp. Whereas the Restic is more rounded off. But you guys can see where this is basically an entirely new sculpt. So hey, they really knocked it out of the ballpark with this. You can really, what I suggest, if you could find one of these guys, clean one of these first. And then you can clean this guy and just fall in love. He's beautiful. What a wonderful sculpt. And the same part count, really. I think it's the head, the two arms, and then the main body, and the base, of course. So very low part count, very, very easy on the old mold lines. What I wanted to do was, the reason why he's not primed yet is because I wanted to find like the other half to a GCPS guy. But I don't want to buy a faction that I don't want to play, you know. So maybe try to find where somebody has like pieces online. You could find, you know, nameless models and whatnot online individually, but you can't find other models individually. Anyhow, this dude is really a choice model. And when I start playing games and painting, he will be the one that's painted because, you know, rare models are awesome. I did put a lot of work into him. So eventually, one fine day around my 80th birthday or something like that, I'll paint him up. But yeah, for the most part, it's gonna be this dude. And then of course these wonderful murder birds. Hopefully the new plastics look as good as these old metals, but only time will tell. So far they, you know, just released 3.0 and some of the box sets, you know, the Forge Father Artificers and stuff like that. We haven't even seen, like, there's a really cool picture of kind of like a 1A, but the dude's got 4 arms and he looks pretty boss. So can't wait for that. Anyway, you guys take it easy, stay safe out there, wash your hands, all that good stuff, and carry a Deadzone. Bye-bye.